Hey everyone, just know that you can use the promo code BROADS for $20 off of your SeatGeek's total purchase, so make sure you get yourself to a game.
Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? It looks like Joel Embiid and Karl-Anthony Towns are both getting a 2-game suspension for the fight that occurred. Well, a tussle, whatever you want to call it. I know it wasn't a legit fight because punches were not thrown, but it was a brawl, if you will, and both players are getting a 2-game suspension. That seems about right. It's pretty much in the ballpark of what I expected. And the Sixers are going to have to live with it as they play Portland and Phoenix in their next 2 games. One thing that makes me happy, though, is Ben Simmons will not be getting fined or suspended. He put Cat in a headlock, but he was playing peacemaker. The Timberwolves were complaining to the league that he wasn't. They were trying to make it seem as if it was vicious. He was putting Karl-Anthony Towns in this headlock to be some sort of pest involved in the fight. But it was obvious. If you have 2 eyeballs and understand the situation, he was just keeping Cat on the ground so nothing else would occur. But I'm pumped that Ben Simmons did not get suspended. I thought just because it's the NBA and they try and make statements, I was afraid that Ben would be somehow punished for his actions. Very happy that he is not. It's a weird situation all around because Al Horford clearly a little disappointed on how things played out. Brett Brown, Elton Brand, upper management with the Sixers, they don't condone the violence. They continue to say that. We do not condone the violence. We don't want this in our game. But they also back it up and support the players at the same time. So it's weird. They're defending it, yet they're not at the same exact time. What bothers me is when I process all of the... what do you want to call it? All of the fighting, if you will. Let's just go with that. When I process it all from on the court to off the court in social media, the social media aspect bothers me more than the actual tussle on the court. The jawing back and forth, posting pictures of each other, tweeting and commenting on the photos and going back and forth yapping. I don't know. It's a little too much for me. It's excessive. Take care of business, do what you want to on the court, but start tweeting pictures of each other and Joel Embiid crying and then Embiid commenting on him about the playoffs and whatnot and get to the playoffs first. I got to give credit to Eitan Shander. He works at 97.3 ESPN, and one of the things that he said on the show today was, if Joel Embiid is going to talk smack to Karl-Anthony Towns about not making the playoffs, then he has no right to chirp anybody else who did more than what he did in this league. So, for example, he can't make fun of Giannis. He can't make fun of Kawhi, Kyle Lowry, Siakam, anyone who has more pedigree in this league than Joel Embiid. He can't make fun of them. He can't chirp them. He can't be aggressive on social media and be this big personality towards them. If he's going to knock Cat for not getting in the playoffs, that would be hypocritical, would it not? And I thought that was a very good point. The social media and the back and forth after the game, that's just not needed in my opinion. It brought it overboard. During the moment, it was great. The shadow boxing, the fist pumps as he was leaving. I get all that. You're in the heat of the moment. The fans are there. They're giving you this surge inside. It makes sense. Afterwards, I don't know. And that's where I think Al Horford's really going to step up. I know the teammates had each other's back. Ben Simmons told Joel Embiid specifically, I got you, dapped him up. That's all great. And I love the fact that this is building the team together. These moments are bringing the team together. That's great. But I also like that Al Horford steps back as the veteran and tells the team, listen, that was great. It is what it is. There's no real part for it in the game. You guys want to win championships? Leave that crap out of it and let's move forward. I'm not a hater. I'm not a lover either. I understand Al Horford's point of view. Let's get this together. Let's put it behind us. Figure it out moving forward. We can play tough defense. We could be the bad boy Pistons in today's version of the bad boys Pistons. We could be this elite defensive team, but we don't need to do that. We don't need to get sucked into that. I expect Al Horford to really be a difference maker in this moment, and I think he will because he's very respected. His voice is very respected, and even someone like Brett Brown, who in the postgame, and I know it's heat of the moment, but in the postgame he was talking about the Philly toughness and talking about how this is Philly. I bet you Brett, after a couple days off of the moment and a couple days rest, he might look at Al Horford in a different way and say, you know what, Al, you might be right. Because at the end of the day, for me specifically, Al Horford's right. Al Horford's right. I enjoyed it. It was great. You get this rise out of you. You're on the couch. You stand up. You're freaking out at the TV. Heat of the moment, it's okay. It's entertaining. But take a few steps back. Sleep on it a couple nights. We want to go after this thing for real. We want to be an NBA title team for real. You can have swag. You can have personality. But you don't need that. And Joel Embiid definitely helped instigate it. Okay, it wasn't all Karl-Anthony Towns. I know he dominated Cat down low, and that frustrated Cat to spark it. But Joel Embiid was clearly involved as well. But let's talk about the West Coast trip that we got coming up here. The two games he will miss, Portland and Phoenix. Portland is a great team who have great guards. I would love to see this team full throttle in Portland. A good test on the road, but now you're missing Joel Embiid. And I know Al Horford can step in at the 5, Tobias can squeak down to the 4, Matisse Thybulle gets into the starting lineup, which could be very beneficial considering that they have great guard play and Matisse can do his magic on those guards. But it's not the same. You even saw it when the Sixers played Atlanta. It's easier to attack the paint when Joel Embiid is not in the mix. It's completely different. We can survive with Al Horford and Kyle O'Quinn, but it's not the same, and I wanted to see this team get tested. I wanted to see a test on the road against a serious Western Conference playoff squad, but we will not see that. You also have to factor in, though, that one of these games possibly could have been load management anyway. So if you think of it in that regards, he was going to miss some of these games on the road anyway. Would it have been Portland? Probably not. But you're just going to have to take it for what it is at this point. It could be a blessing in disguise because of the fast play of those guards and how elite they are. We can go smaller and maybe play to their speed, but this is the thing, and as I say that, it doesn't even sound right coming out of my mouth, because I know for a fact we want teams to adjust to us. The size of the Sixers, how long they are, how big the Sixers starting 5 is. We don't adjust to other teams. We are so good at this point that teams adjust to us right now. We don't care if you're going small. We will throw big guys at you. We will find ways to win with that recipe. We saw it against Minnesota. The size was a factor. The length was a big-time difference maker. And Minnesota was trying to throw different things at you. Didn't work. So I'm not going to go with that mindset. It didn't even sound right coming out of my mouth. What I do love, though, is the fact that Embiid will be back for the Utah Jazz game. Because Rudy Gobert is a beast. He's a defensive player who is really good. And without Joel Embiid in that game, that's huge. That's crucial. So he will be back for that game. He will not be playing against the Phoenix Suns. And we all laugh at that team, the Phoenix Suns, right? Oh, they stink. They put together some impressive W's so far this season. They beat Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. They beat the Warriors, but what are the Warriors at this point? They lost, I believe, by 1 point to the Denver Nuggets. So they're involved in games, and DeAndre Ayton's a big man. Now, I think Al Horford would be able to step in and his veteran leadership will be fine against someone like DeAndre Ayton, but we know they have Booker and other players. Dario Saric, how about it? I looked at his stats when I was looking at the Phoenix Suns so far this season, and he put up some points, and I believe he had a double-double in one of those games, and he was providing some production over there in Phoenix. But all around here, the moral of the story is we will not be with Joel Embiid for a couple games. It's just the regular season. We're going to miss him plenty of games, and that's why you went out and got Horford and Kyle O'Quinn. I totally get it. Like I said, there could have been a chance he was going to sit one of these games anyway, because we're going to do the Kawhi Leonard effect. You already see Kawhi Leonard missing games for load management. It's just what it is. But because there's punishment involved, because the NBA is stepping in and saying, no, he's not playing these games, it feels different. There's a different tone to it. But now that it's a few days later, and when I say that, I mean, when was the game now? Was it 1 day ago or 2 days ago? I don't even remember at this point. So many things going on here. I think we just need to put it past us. We don't need to make it this big thing to the point where this is our personality. This is what we do. You want to come to Philly, we're going to fight you. We're going to bring you to the ground. I don't think it needs to be to that level. We want Joel Embiid to be playing. We need him to be available. We need him to be on the court. So enjoy the moment. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the beef, whatever you want. But I think it's time to turn the page and look at Al Horford in this moment. And say, Al Horford's right. He's been around a long time. He's mature as hell. I know you can't take away Joel Embiid's personality, and I'm not saying to do that. There's a reason why he's so special. This is what he is. You don't change someone's personality and his style of play. You let them play the way they do. But be smart, and let's think about things moving forward. You want to win a title? You got to be available. You want to be a team that's going to make it deep into the playoffs? You got to focus. You got to put your head on straight. Don't worry about what the other people are doing. Focus on what's going on in the locker room of the 76ers. Focus on figuring out this offense. Focus on keeping this defense elite. Play tough. Be annoying. Piss other players off. That's fine. But know when to switch the motor. Know when it's time to take a step back. You can irk them. You can get in their head. Just don't get into the fight next time. And I believe the organization knows, Joel Embiid specifically knows, the social media part might have went too far, especially because Embiid even stated before the season started, he's going to take a step back. He's going to take it down a notch. It's not about the chirping and what he does on social media and all of that. He stated that before the season ever happened. So now that you're seeing it after a fight, it's weird. It's odd. And I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I don't really like it. So, there we have it. 2-game suspension. We were waiting on it. It is what it is. It's a test. It's a test for the Sixers team on the road. So, let's see how they answered the bell. 4-0. 4-0. I was actually listening to sports radio this week. I forget what day it was on. Maybe Wednesday or Tuesday. Some guy called in and said he had a bet with his buddy. And the bet was the Sixers will go 5-0 to start the season. The man who called in had the bet. He was the one betting that they would go 5-0. It's close. I've been thinking about it since I heard that phone call. It's close. He needs to find a way to close it out with a win in Portland on the road without the big man. Will they get it done? We got a tough stretch ahead. We do. We do. Not just these 2 games, all of them. The whole stretch on the road. Let's see what the team's made of. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.